Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and two of my favorites are in the studio today. We have Casey Castillo, CEO of the San Diego Food Bank, Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank. How you doing there, Casey?
I am great, Drew. It's always great to be here. Thank you.
Always love to have you make a return appearance. And a longtime friend calling, now the chief cook and bottle washer of Mission Fed Credit Union, the president and CEO, Doug Wright. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing very well. I think you forgot janitor.
Listen, you do it. I know you. You do it all from soup to nuts, and I know the staff appreciates that as well on that. We'll start with you, Casey, just for those people living in San Diego County, 3.3 million people who don't know about the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank. What's the mission?
So our mission is to provide nutritious food and other resources to people in need, to advocate for the hungry, and to educate the public about hunger-related issues. We are a food safety net. We're the county's food safety net. This past year, we distributed over 50 million pounds countywide.
Wow.
That's nearly 40 million meals. Just to give you an indication, the need is still great in San Diego County. That's the second most in our 47-year history.
You know, for those folks who just can't get their hands around the fact, you live in San Diego and you see all this pristine beaches and all this business, and there can't be people that are food insecure in San Diego County. Absolutely not true.
Not true. People are surprised. Latest study has San Diego County food insecurity number at about 800,000 people countywide. So that's 25% of the county. It's mind-blowing.
It really is. And Doug, again, we get a chance to shine a light on some of the other executives at Mission Fed. You've been with the company for how long now?
Oh, it's been about 8.5 years now.
8.5 years, CFO, and we got a chance to chat with the new CFO at a recent show on this thing. But what's the mission of your company?
Our mission is really twofold. Number one, our mission is really to financially empower our members so that they can live a more successful financial life and ultimately, hopefully, a more successful and happier life. So that's number one. But number two, working through our members and then also working through our great nonprofit partners like the Food Bank, elevating San Diego overall and uplifting San Diego and doing good things in the community so that San Diego is a better and more livable place to work and live.
Exactly, and nothing more important, as Casey was talking about with food insecurity. I'll start with you on this one, Doug. Why is this so important for you personally, working with the Jacobs and Cushman Food Bank as part of San Diego Hunger Awareness Month, so to speak?
Yeah, I think Casey said it all. 25% of San Diegans are facing food insecurity. That means that a lot of working adults and a lot of children are really facing food insecurity. So it's really critical. We think that we need to do whatever we can to address that challenge and ensure that people have sufficient food, because without sufficient food, it's hard to do anything else really successfully in life.
Right. So talk about this, this food, for kids backpack program that you want to have at all of your branches.
Yeah, this one's really near and dear to our hearts. When kids don't have enough food, all sorts of things, of really sad and unfortunate things happen. Certainly they can't focus on learning. They can't focus on running and playing, which is what kids should do. And so being able to support this program is really an important aspect of what we do. Those kids who are facing food insecurity are able to take advantage of school lunch programs, school breakfast programs during the week. But when they go home on the weekends, they don't have those programs available to them. So this program in particular provides food over the weekends so that kids can continue to live and live without hunger over the weekend. And often what happens and what we find too is that those kids are sharing that food with other siblings or other members of the family as well. So it not just benefits the kids to take the backpacks home, but also their whole family.
Yeah, no, I think that's terrific. We're chatting with Doug Wright, President and CEO of Mission Fed Credit Union, joined by his colleague, Casey Castillo. He's the CEO of San Diego Food Bank. Welcoming to the mic is my now celebrating an anniversary over a year as my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., celebrating their 20th anniversary this year in Liberty Station. How you doing, Kristen?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's our 1-year anniversary, if I'd show up on time.
If you showed up just fine over here. Casey, getting back a little bit to that, absolutely stunning number, 25% of people living in San Diego County are food insecure. Is that number stabilizing? Is it going up? Is it going down? And as part of the reasons, we are not the most inexpensive place to live.
Yeah, so that number went up last year, which is why, again, I mentioned earlier the 50 million pounds that we distributed. We responded because those numbers went up. It has stabilized over the last few months, but what we've seen historically and what we're expecting is as we get closer to the holidays, those numbers will start to climb again. They climbed during the summer months, and so our summer food drive was able to combat that. Now we're preparing for the holiday season when we see the numbers climb.
Right, exactly. And something that you and I have chatted about before, hunger doesn't know a month, okay? This may be San Diego Hunger Awareness Month, but, July 15th, March 29th, it's 12 months of the year, correct?
You are absolutely right. And we have talked about this before, in that most of our monetary donations come in during the holidays.
Right.
October, November, December. But hunger remains constant throughout the year. And so campaigns like this, we are celebrating September as San Diego Hunger Awareness Month. Mission Fed is such a critical partner. They help us highlight this month and hunger awareness and food insecurity in San Diego County. This campaign that Doug mentioned with our Food for Kids backpack program, it allows us, programs like this and campaigns like this allow us to grow those programs. There are tens of thousands of children that are facing food insecurity, tens of thousands of students that go hungry over the weekend. Food for Kids backpack program combats that.
No, that is huge. Kristen?
Yeah, I'm just coming in here, but I'm so glad that we're talking about this again, the backpack program. Did you talk about the reach, where you're at in San Diego, where maybe you'd like to go?
Yeah, so we are in over 80 schools and in 19 school districts.
Wow.
Last year, because of these campaigns, we were able to increase from 3,000 students served every Friday to 3,500 students. I think by the end of the year, we're going to be at 3,700 students. So this campaign with Mission Fed allows us to take schools off the wait list every year and reach more kids.
Yeah, I think what's great about it, you and I have talked about this before, and sometimes the metrics have changed. Back in the day, $1 donation would pay for 5 meals. That's not quite the number these days and so forth. But for as little as $8, what does that do and tie to a backpack program?
Yeah, so overall program for the school year costs $300 per child. Pretty amazing that we're able to feed these children every weekend, 36 weekends throughout the school year. $8 allows us to do that each week. So $8 a week, that's what we're encouraging, I think, Mission Fed members to donate, but really anything helps. As you point out, for us, every dollar we receive, we can convert to 2 meals.
That's right.
So whether it's $1 that you want to donate or $8 or you can do more, it all helps. It makes a difference.
And it gets back to something, Doug, you and I have chatted about for quite a while on the great work that Mission Fed does in the community. You guys are absolutely the anti-poster child for checkbook philanthropy. Yes, the money is very important, and we know it turns on lights and it does with backpacks. But you guys have the whole force of your members behind you and then your employees to get involved. And you guys are involved. Talk about how important that is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is definitely a cause that all of our people, all of our staff get behind. We've got huge contests running between various branches and our contact center, which is our call center right now, as to who can raise the most funds for this program. All of our administrative people are definitely behind it as well. We sent a group of volunteers the other day out to actually pack backpacks at the North County Food Bank location. So it's something that we really love. It's a great way to start off September and start off the school year, and something that we look forward to pretty much every year. So, we encourage anyone to donate in any of our 34 branches, or go online, or call our contact center. Any way you can reach us, we'll be able to and happy to take that donation. And we'd love $1, $8, $100, whatever people can give, we'll take it, and we know Casey and his group will take it too and make the maximum use out of that dollar.
Absolutely, Casey.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to add to that. So Mission Fed is a shining star. They really, truly are an example out there. During COVID, they were one of our largest partners, helping us respond to that great need then. Combined now through all of our all these years, Mission Fed has given about $1 million. That's millions and millions of pounds of food. They've fed hundreds of thousands of people over the last several years because of the great work they do. Members that come in participate, but I want to give kudos to their employees, their team members. They really do understand food insecurity. They understand the food bank and our mission. And they really understand the Food for Kids backpack program. We have employees that are members at Mission Fed. They come in every year to tell us, the checker had so much to say. They went on and on about this program, and I was inspired, and I gave. They're employees of the food bank, and so big kudos to Mission Fed and their members. And
I want to pick up on something that Doug just said too, and Kristen, you jump in as well. Kristen is heavily involved in so many volunteer activities as well, and I think you encourage your 5-year-old to get involved as much as they can. He can as well.
I do, yeah
exactly. But $1 listen, if that's what you can afford, that's beautiful, and maybe next month it's $2, who knows? And the same thing with volunteer hours. And people say, well, listen, I don't have 4 million hours to dedicate. You don't need 4 million hours to dedicate. Casey, you'll take 1 hour, would you not?
Absolutely. This year, we had 14,000 volunteers come through both warehouses and out at our distribution sites. That's up from 11,000 the year before. 84,000 hours a year ago. Now, this year is 88,000 hours contributed in volunteer time. That's the equivalent of 44 full-time employees. So we could not do this work without amazing volunteers. We try to make it really easy to volunteer with us. You can volunteer in our Miramar warehouse, our Vista warehouse, or out at some of our distribution sites. Visit our website, and you can find a volunteer opportunity. And if you have time, please register.
Yeah, that's good. What's the website? How people get involved with you?
SanDiegoFoodBank.org/volunteer, or just SanDiegoFoodBank.org. And there's a tab on the landing page for volunteering.
Yeah, we come back from break, Casey and Doug will talk more about the program, of the backpack program, and certainly and other things that our listeners can do. I know Kristen wants to weigh in on some of this as well. And then maybe talk about some of the other events you may have that are coming up or you've already done as well. And most importantly, how can our long list of followers and listeners support your efforts? Obviously, donating is good, volunteering as well, but if there's other things, be thinking about that. When we return with Casey Castillo, CEO of the San Diego Food Bank, the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, joined by Doug Wright, President and CEO of Mission Fed Credit Union. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are the nation's longest running spotlight on the community show in 18 years now, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades. These wonderful folks have been doing great things in San Diego County. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit. So we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, broadcasting from these really cool Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch and Mission Fed, 6 decades plus of just doing great things in San Diego County. Whether it's food insecurity, like we're talking today, or it's literacy, or it's art, or everything in between, they are absolutely on their game, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., celebrating their 20th anniversary in Liberty Station. Kristen?
Yeah. I wondered if we could get into, Casey, some of the other things that you have going on, events that are coming up, campaigns. Tell us a little more.
Well, we're going to stay pretty focused in September on our Mission Fed campaign, but we'll quickly move to our fall food drive and our Scare Away Hunger peanut butter drive, which also happens in October. And again, this Mission Fed campaign really highlights the work we're doing. It provides a lot of momentum going into the fall and the holiday season.
Yeah.
You know, as you had mentioned, the numbers are going up, right? And again, something can be tied to inflation, obviously. Some can be tied to, again, things are not easy in San Diego. We know that as well. Doug, talk about this, and you mentioned this quite a bit when you come on the show. Whether you're a member of Mission Fed or not, you offer a lot of insights on how to manage a budget and to, make yourself, able to, get through the day or get through the month when it comes to finances. Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. When I talked about the mission to begin with, we talked about empowering financially our members. And that takes into account a couple of different things. Number one, products and services that we offer that certainly can support members and are offered at a very good value for our members. But that's only one component. The other component is really around advice, counseling, coaching, support for people who are trying to make decisions in a very complex financial environment. And making decisions in that complex financial environment requires the right education, the right tools, the right understanding of what's going on in terms of managing a budget or managing your credit or saving for a down payment on a home or saving for retirement. And so at Mission Fed, we really focus on making sure that our members are aware of all the resources that are available to them, not only the products and services, but also the coaching and the advice that we can provide in terms of helping them to create a budget or manage their credit better or save for retirement or all of those things that people need to or want to think about in terms of making their financial goals and making their dreams come true in terms of living in San Diego or retiring at a time that they want to retire, or whatever the case may be.
Right. And of course, and with that, so saving an extra $8 a month would go pay for a backpack. And listen, it doesn't sound like much. It is for those folks who are having difficult times. But think what that does for that person getting that backpack, right, Casey?
Absolutely. I mean, it changes lives, right? We know we are the county's food safety net, but we also feel that we have an obligation to help break the cycle of poverty. The backpack program is that for us. It allows us to feed students over the weekend. They can come back to school prepared, ready to learn, ready to thrive. One of the things I get to do is receive continual feedback from parents and teachers about those students, about how this program helps them improve their grades, their behavior increases, they attend school more often. It improves their self-confidence and empowers them. Those are the things that break that cycle, right? They see that they can be successful. School's going to be important to them. And so, that $8 makes a difference.
Let's chat a little about how you engage some of the young folks involved, working with the colleges, or working with, the high schools and so forth, or people even younger than that. How do you get them engaged?
Just on a call yesterday with SDSU and some of their student leaders. They're going to be hosting in October Colleges Rock Hunger Food Drive for us, and all colleges have the opportunity to participate in that. The other thing I would say is we talked about volunteers and how many volunteers we have come into the warehouses each year. You can volunteer as young as 11. And so we have schools and youth groups that are constantly coming in to volunteer. And in fact, I had a volunteer that encouraged me to come out and volunteer for an evening session a few months ago. And I spent time putting bags of produce together with 2 juniors in high school.
Nice.
They were just there because they felt compelled to do that. And we had a lovely time for an hour talking about their life and why they choose to give back and to volunteer in that way.
There's been much written about college students these days who also face food insecurity, do they not?
Absolutely. It's something like 47% of college students face food insecurity throughout their college years.
That's a big number.
That's a big number. It's why we created our College Hunger Relief program back in 2015. So our goal was to have pantries at each of these colleges throughout San Diego County, which we now do. And then we provide the food to help those pantries on a regular basis. So those college students can come to those pantries, get food and other supplies. And then we're also really encouraging CalFresh at these sites for college students, because college students do qualify. So the CalFresh is another term for food stamps. And so there are other resources for college students beyond the food that we're able to give them.
Right. Kristen, you seem like you wanted to ask a question.
Oh, you know me so well. And you see my eyebrow sort of twitching over here. Good for you. Yay. We're learning about each other. Obviously, we have Mission Fed, who's an amazing sponsor. But I wondered if Casey could speak to some of the other nonprofit sponsors as well. And also, if you had a wish list of other nonprofits, organizations in the community, is there anything that you're kind of looking for the millions of people listening? Maybe they'll be compelled. One
of the beautiful things that about our mission and our model is that we get to partner with so many organizations out in the community. Yeah. In fact, we partner with over 500 other nonprofit organizations that have feeding programs.
Can you tell me all of those names?
Just kidding. Yeah. I'll go. And they range from that. Next time, I'll be prepared for that.
Okay, in chronological order,
yes.
Please. Okay.
And they range from your very small pantry, like a church pantry, right, to some of the largest nonprofits here in San Diego County. They get food from us. They take it back to their neighborhoods, their constituencies. So we love that. And I'm constantly out talking to elected officials and other community leaders about, if you're aware of nonprofit partners that we do not work with, please let us know. Introduce us, because that's truly how we can have the reach that we have now, and then the reach that we need in the future. Other organizations, I think we're really interested right now in partnering with other organizations that maybe go beyond food, that are addressing other critical issues in San Diego County, housing, workforce, other things like that. I think that's where you're going to see some of the work go in the coming years.
Yeah, we got some in mind for you. So after the show, I'll give you a whole laundry list of folks that you can work for.
I love it.
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to mention, though, is
Please.
You can see how much leverage that the food bank has in working with over 500 nonprofits. Yeah. That comes back to, though, all of us supporting the food bank and making sure that we're donating our time and treasure to make that happen. Because if we can do that with the food bank, they're leveraging that investment all the way across many other nonprofits, so that we're reaching a lot more people in that respect. And I think that's really the power of nonprofits getting together, is the ability to collect resources, pull resources together, and then leverage those resources to cover a range of needs in the community.
Right. We are chatting with our good friends from the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, Casey Castillo, CEO, joined by Doug Wright, President and CEO of Mission Fed Credit Union. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the community show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel of San Diego Writers, Inc. So, Casey, you're a metrics guy. You really love talking about metrics. You're sitting next to Mr. Metric, Doug Wright, and all that business. And I mean that all in sincerity. It's important, Casey, you can address this, and you can too, Doug, that you want to make sure that every dollar, every volunteer hour is leading to something that you can say, because of X, here's how many people we helped. And if we continue that trend line, we're going to be doing pretty well. Talk about that.
Well, I am a former CFO. I'm a recovering CFO. I spent 20 plus years as a chief financial officer. Doug speaks my language. Actually, the first time I met Doug, I was invited a couple of years ago to speak with the Mission Fed team. I think you hold quarterly all-staff meetings.
Right.
And I happened to walk in during Doug's presentation. And I was blown away at his presentation. He was talking about the finances of Mission Fed, but also the economy and how that impacts banking. And Doug's a great communicator.
Yes, he is.
Not all CFOs are. And that's why he's such a great CEO as well. And you're right. The language we speak, data, metrics, really drives the things that we do. We're both analytical, and that's what you're going to see, I think, more of from the food bank. We're going to let data drive those efforts. We're a lean, mean machine. And what that allows us to do is feed more people and to feed them better. That's what we're moving towards. We want to build the capacity and the infrastructure to reach everyone facing food insecurity. As mentioned earlier, that number is 800,000 people. We're going to need to let metrics and data help us get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug, I want to add to that.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. You're very kind and
very true, though.
Your thoughts and so on. One of the things I want to focus back on is I think Casey indicated that we're up to about 3,500 students, hopefully getting to 3,700. Our internal goal, honestly, is higher than 3,700. We'd like to get to 4,000 students or more on this program, but that still leaves a lot of kids who are not on the program. So we want to continue to grow this program, and the metrics really help. That trend line really helps us grow. So when you look at the metrics, one of the things I want to mention is, Casey and his team are very careful about the Food for Backpacks program, because they don't want to put a kid on the program and not be able to support that kid throughout the full school year.
Right.
So they've been very cautious, and rightly so, in adding kids to the program, because you just can't tell a kid that he's going to have food for the rest of the year and not be able to provide that. So that is something that we always keep in mind. And so we're very cognizant and aware of that. And we're trying to work very closely with the food bank to build that ongoing support so that he can continue to, and the food bank can continue to add kids and continue to support those kids on a go-forward basis. So the metrics are driving what we're doing in that respect. But the other side of it is, Casey mentioned, kind of the what happens when kids have food and so on. All you have to do is watch and listen to kids tell the story about what a difference it makes to them to have food over the weekend. And if there's anything more heartwarming than to have a 7 or 8 year old tell you about how much better they feel having a full stomach over the weekend, I don't know what it is.
Well, and then, we can have another 5-hour show just on that aspect of it, because then it's tied to confidence, it's tied to self-esteem, it's tied to not just them, it's their siblings, it's their parents, it's their grandparents, and say, my goodness, this is a different kid I just have right now. Casey, I know you want to say something, so fire away.
Well, if I could add to that, those are all the things that you see.
Yeah.
And Doug mentioned the video in those interviews, and you can see the children saying just that. But you're right, Drew. Each month, We also, one of the weeks in the month, we provide a family pack for those siblings and for parents. We add additional items like beans and rice. And one of the things from the interviews that gets me every time is a little girl saying that she loves that she can provide food for the rest of the family, and that they can make the meal together and sit down as a family and eat. That's what it's about. It's about caring for these families and empowering them, bringing them together.
Well, if that doesn't bring goosebumps to you, then we're going to have to check a saliva test on you on that. That is very heartwarming to hear. Shout out a number where people can get engaged with the backpack program.
We make it easy. SanDiegoFoodBank.org. You can find the backpack program on our website. If you want to be more specific, SanDiegoFoodBank.org/backpack.
Casey, it's always a pleasure having you in here. We're going to look forward to your next visit because there's always 5,000 other things to talk about on this. Doug, thank you for being personally a longtime friend and colleague. Thank you. And more importantly, what you and Mission Fed and your colleagues have done for just wonderful organizations like the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank and everybody else in this. We look forward to having you make another appearance back on our Spotlight Show.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Very good. We've been chatting with Casey Castillo, CEO of the San Diego Food Bank, Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, joined by Doug Wright, President and CEO of Mission Fed Credit Union. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, brought to you by the fine folks of Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of continuing to great work for those folks living in San Diego County. Kristen Fogel, as always, thank you for being my co-host. And we hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.